Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Blox video, where today we'll go over the Alright dungeon system in Blox that was added not too long ago. Yes, I know I'm very late, however I've really wanted to make a video on this topic, because there's so many opinions I have to share with you. Before we get started, however, I am morally obligated to tell you to like and subscribe, which you really should. It helps out a ton, and I would greatly appreciate it. I put so much time into these videos, and even though I don't upload on a daily basis or anything, it would really help out a ton. Thank you, and into the video. The dungeons in Blox Fruits were added in Update 29, alongside the Control Fruit rework. They're a fun spin on the already existing raids, but allowed for more versatility and an overall different experience. This already brings us to the first flaw I've seen with them. They're kind of just announced and put in the game. Nobody really knew what to do with them or what motivation to have to do them at all. They seem like a time waste, and the rewards are just overall mediocre. The only real ambition people would need to do the dungeons is because every single Control Fruit upgrade requires the dungeons. Each quest, you need to do dungeons. It goes 1 dungeon, 3 dungeon, I think 5 dungeons. And then to purchase the upgrade after that, you also need simulation data, which is a reward from the dungeons. So that's the only thing you would need to do the dungeons for. I think this is a terrible way to make the control upgrade, and it's an even worse way to promote the dungeons. The other reward obtained from these dungeons is trinkets, which are like mini accessories with each type of trinket having buffs. Now personally, I haven't seen the effect of every trinket, I haven't tried out every trinket, but the common pattern between them is that they upgrade things that normally your stats would upgrade, so your melee damage, your fruit damage, your gun damage, etc. I don't think trinkets are that big of a deal, especially when there's accessories already in the game that can do the same thing, including more unique things. But for all you sweaty PvPers out there, you get to squeeze out some extra damage in your one-shot combos, so go ahead and abuse it as best as you can, and grind these things to the max. A boring part of the dungeons is that each one goes almost exactly the same. There are 4 kinds of rooms, meaning each room looks exactly the same but has different enemies. This also doesn't include the 2 rooms used by 2 of the bosses, which we'll talk about later on, which are custom made for that boss. And the enemies are just all the same thing. You have dragon users, you got fishman karate users, you have gun users that for some reason can just one-shot you. There's not much variation in the enemies, besides the bosses that come every 5 floor, and each enemy on a floor has the same ability or theme, whether that be dragon attacks, water attacks, gun attacks that, again, for some reason, can one-shot you. And personally, I find them kind of boring. The bosses are interesting to say the least. They come every 5 floors and take between 5 minutes to upwards of 20 minutes to beat. The first boss you encounter is the Ancient Beast, also known as the T-Rex Fruit User. This one is by far the easiest. His first form, he just jumps around and uses T-Rex moves. Second form is the same thing, but he's transformed and just has a bigger hitbox, so it just makes it even easier. The second boss you come across is the Kitsune Lord, or, as you could probably assume, the Kitsune User. This is the second easiest boss. In the first phase, he just runs back and forth across the room spamming Kitsune moves, which can get kind of annoying. In the second phase, he transforms into a Kitsune user, making him even faster and unpredictable, so he can just run across and spam Kitsune moves at you. There also becomes shrines in each corner of the room that you have to destroy, or they will absolutely nuke you if you come close to them. It's the second easiest boss, however. It comes on the 10th floor. Not too hard. The third boss is, in my opinion, the hardest one. The room takes the shape of the factory from the second sea, except it's super tall, which becomes a big thing later on in the fight. For the first phase, it's again just him running around throwing out gas attacks. He's a gas fruit user, I forgot to mention. But the second phase changes things. When he first hits second phase, he transforms and teleports on top of the factory core in the middle of the room. Then he shoots a giant gas laser down around the floor, and if it hits someone, he'll start targeting them, and it does about 10,000 damage per 1 or 2 seconds. So you're absolutely cooked if you get touched with this thing. You'll be evaporated. And in the second phase, it becomes even harder because you have to stop vents, which go up and down across the wall. And remember, this room is very tall. This becomes very annoying if you don't have a ranged weapon. Definitely, in my opinion, the hardest boss because he can also just one-shot you randomly, and I have no idea why. Now, in a normal dungeon, this is where it would stop. You'd get your rewards and go back to the dungeon hub and maybe try again. But in a harder challenge mode dungeon, there's one more boss that you have to encounter. Zero, the control fruit user. This boss isn't necessarily the hardest in my opinion, but it's definitely the most annoying. First of all, half his attacks launch him up into the air, where he tends to stay for about the next 20 seconds, making him the biggest air camper you will ever encounter. But also, he can teleport basically at any time throughout his run, making it super difficult to pin him down to kill. He also has roughly 6 million health, which makes him tankier than a Shark V4 user on steroids. Zero's the second hardest boss in my opinion, but he's definitely the most annoying. Don't get me wrong, I love when Blox Fruits updates and add more content, but as for the dungeons, they could have been implemented so much better, and I hope the next update polishes them and makes them way better, way more fun, enjoyable, and, overall not sanity draining. Now, thank you all so much for watching to the end. I put so much time into the making of this video. If you could support me by liking and subscribing, it would help me out so much. Also, I have a Discord server where if you want to join and get help in dungeons or other Blox Fruit things, or even just talk about any game in general, you should definitely join. You get to meet more people and maybe even help out in a video in the future. So if you're interested, go check it out in the description.